to raise the bar. We're all links in the chain. Hi guys, it's Lily coming to you guys live from Las Vegas, Nevada.
And it's LindaRose coming to you live from Maine.
I'm so excited for this episode because I think we have a lot of really exciting things. We have a really great interview and we have a lot of exciting announcements for what's coming up in the future.
Also, if you didn't realize, we were both dressed up because tomorrow's St. Patrick's Day, but that's a Thursday, and our episode is on a Wednesday, so we decided to dress up for that.
Yep, so happy early St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, I know I'm wearing one of Crystal's St. Patrick's Day hats, and it came in today, so it was like perfect timing.
Wow, that's so great. Yeah, I think mine's in the mail right now, so after the live I'm gonna go to the mailbox and see if it's there. So
Yeah,
we have
it's St. Patrick's Day is so much fun because like at school, like everyone goes and dresses up, so I don't feel like the odd one out because I was school dressed up.
Yeah. So we have a lot of really exciting things today. And first off, we wanted to talk a little bit about the interview that we're going to be sharing today. It's with McKale Montgomery, and she's just so inspiring and such an accomplished female.
Yeah, this interview was probably one of my favorites we've ever filmed. Her insight on everything was so good. She also just she really understood the like on TikTok there's this thing where like you understood the assignment thing trend going around. She understood the assignment.
Definitely. So we're going to go ahead and show you guys that interview. Hi, Mikhail. Thanks so much for coming on and doing this with us. We're so honored to be able to get to interview you today.
Well, thanks. Yeah, thanks for the invite. I'm happy to be here.
Oh, yeah, it's amazing. And I know that a lot of people are going to love to see you on here for our Accomplished Athlete of the Month. So we're going to go ahead and start off with our first question. You are like so amazing and such an inspiration. And I was wondering if you could talk to us a little bit about how you started running and a little bit about your journey since then.
Well, I started running actually because I really wanted to be a good basketball player. I loved basketball growing up. I still enjoy watching it. And one of the high school athletes that I looked up to more than anything I would see her running just for practice, and I asked if I could join her because I just wanted to do everything she was doing. So if she was going to run, I was going to run. If she was going to play basketball, I was going to play basketball, and that's how I got started. And her mom ended up being was the cross country coach and asked me to join the team, and that was kind of the rest was history after that because I was a way better runner than basketball player, as it turned out. And so I really liked that. And then I'm from a very small town in Oklahoma, and I wanted to go to college. I knew I wanted to go to college, and I didn't really know how to get there. But after I started winning some bigger races in high school, I started getting recruitment letters in colleges, and I just saw it as my sort of ticket out, my ticket to school, and then I viewed it as that. And I did get a track scholarship, and I did get to leave town, and I'm still proud of where I came from, but it was nice to get out. So that was sort of how it all got started and kept me motivated.
Amazing that you started your running with basketball. That's just so inspiring.
So you never know. You got to keep your eyes open. You never know what you're going to find that you're talented at, and just being open to trying new things.
Before basketball season long this summer, me and my best friend Haley, we have to go running. We do training for basketball, and we run a lot. We go to the courts quite often, so we run there usually because we do so much running. We also play softball together, and that's a lot of running. So I run a lot, and it's so amazing. I don't think I could do cross country running or track or anything because I get quite out of breath pretty quickly. So it's kind of hard to pace myself because I like to
running. Yeah, it translates to a lot. And yeah, it certainly helped me get better at basketball. So I liked that too. But
I was wondering, how has being a nutritionist helped you with running?
It helps me really understand the role that nutrition plays. I like no, I mean, I prefer the known to the unknown. So if I'm gonna, how is eating this gonna impact that? How are carbohydrates gonna help me go longer? How is protein gonna help me build muscle? So I like knowing that all the way down to the molecular level, and it just helps me make good choices. It motivates my good choices, right? Nothing wrong with enjoying cookies and cakes. I do that regularly, but understanding that the whole grain bread on my sandwich is going to have this impact that's going to help improve my performance just motivates me to make good choices. But I will say, and I'm working on this a little bit, there's a lot of us, right? You don't have to be a dietitian to know that it is probably healthier than French fries, right? You could know that. Most people on the street could tell you that. But having access to that, being able to afford a healthy salad over a dollar cheeseburger is really something that's a struggle, and that's something I'm passionate about. And so I really am wanting to use my role next to make that good nutrition more accessible. Okay, yeah, I know that a salad's healthier. How am I going to afford that? So that's really where my passion is going towards. So I hope that I can make a difference there soon.
And I saw that your marathon in Woodlands, Texas was misstructured, and that must have been really disappointing. Could you maybe share a little bit about how you dealt with the disappointment?
It's incredibly frustrating. It was like the best worst day of my life. Um, in general, like disappointments like that and just life, I like to let myself be sad for a while. I worked really hard for that to just be taken away, and I've had obviously lots of other disappointments too. And I think it's okay to be sad sometimes. You don't have to automatically cheer up and be the light of the room. So usually, I just do that. Okay, I'm sad right now, but I try to set a time limit on it. I try to say, but you know, tomorrow or next week, depending on the size of the disappointment, we're gonna have to move past this. And so that's what I like to do. I like to be sad and understand that it's was a disappointment, and it's okay to be upset, but eventually I'm gonna have to move on. So I usually set myself a time limit. Here's the end of it, and here's what we're gonna do to move past it. And I find that helps rather than just repressing those feelings.
I've had some trouble with that in the past, and it's really important just to find a balance. And
Yeah, I know, playing basketball this year, going back to basketball, I had a pretty, a good injury during basketball. I just got into the game. It was our fourth to last game, I think, and I hyperextended both my wrists, trying to get a rebound. Yeah, it took about a week to get it to the point where I could move my wrists,
Oh,
without being in a lot of pain. But I did get back to playing, but it was hard knowing that I couldn't play the rest of that game. I sticked with my team though during that whole game, but I was in so much pain when it happened, and it was really disappointing the fact that I couldn't play and knowing I couldn't help my team, especially since we were short on players that game. So I know it's hard. And what was the training like when you were preparing to qualify for the Olympic marathon trials?
well, it was so that qualifying for the trials was a dream that had been a long time coming. Um, I tried for the first time in 2012, and I missed qualifying by about a minute. And I tried qualifying again in 2016, and I missed qualifying by 5 seconds. And then when it finally happened, 8 years after my first attempt, I was just so excited. So it was exciting, and so that part made it motivating. Like, I've achieved my dream. I want to go here and do well. But then it was pretty overwhelming because it felt kind of all consuming. Oh, everything is building to this one day, this one time. And I kind of made me thankful for my day job that, I have other things, that I have a kid, and I have, something else to think about, because it was hard not to be obsessed about it. And so it took a little. It was exciting, but almost started taking the fun out of it. And so I didn't really like that aspect. I like having multiple things in my life. I don't like having all my eggs in one basket.
Yeah, and I know that a lot of people who are watching who are interested in getting into this type of stuff will really appreciate that advice. How did the pandemic prevent your goals from happening, and what did you do to help yourself reach your goals even with that?
So yeah, well, the pandemic was, hard in lots of ways for lots of people, but for specific to running, every goal race I had signed up for in 2020 got canceled. And so I kind of sat down at one point. I mean, I actually got a text or an email that one of the races was canceled in the middle of a workout. And I just kind of stopped and was like, well, why am I even training? But it reminded me that I was training, that I wasn't always just running before a race. I was running because I enjoyed it. And so, I was like, okay, well, let me set a tiny goal for myself. Let me set a goal that I can do here at home. And I did that. And I set myself the goal of just a little goal. I wanted to run a very fast mile. A mile's not too far. I can do that by myself. And, started working towards that and have somebody help me do that. And once races start up again, I was just reminding that racing is such a privilege. And that whenever you have the opportunity to do something you love on a big scale, just enjoy it. Because remember to have fun with it. Yeah, it was a good hard reset for me. It reminded me that I'm running because I love it, not just because I'm competing. And then whenever I got to compete again, I was just so grateful.
Yeah, really important that even when things get tough, don't lose the reason that you're doing it, which is it should always be to have fun.
Right.
So I actually found this out through Lilly, since you did reach out. She gave me a lot of information. I read up on you. You also have a family. You have a daughter. I feel like since you started your family, any opportunities have not been handed to you, or people viewed you differently?
Not so much that taking away opportunities, but I will say, and I hope this resonates with you too and your goals. Running has been a big part of my life since I was in high school, since I found out I was good at it, since I found out I could do something with myself for it. But what was always surprising to me was how people put an end to it, and it was just other people's opinions. Well, yeah, okay, you'll run in college, but you'll stop running because you're not on a team anymore. And you'll have to stop running when you're in graduate school because you'll be too busy. But I kept running. You'll have to stop running once you get a real job because then you'll be too busy. You'll have to stop running when you start a family because then you'll be too busy. And people were just always trying to put this end to my dreams, like, because so this happens, that dream ends. And that is not the case. It wasn't more that the opportunities were taking away. It was people were telling me that I shouldn't be looking for them anymore. And the opportunities are there. You just look for them and keep going. And so they're there. You just got to push those negative comments out of your mind. Just because you have a family doesn't take those dreams away or the opportunities. It might just adapt the way you approach them.
Such good advice too. It's really important never to let other people's negative energies get in the way of your hopes and goals. So I was reading and saw that you have ran the fastest marathon ever by a woman in Kansas, which is just so amazing and an inspiration to others wanting to run marathons also. So I was wondering, what was it like running that marathon?
So it was the first race that I got to do, the first race that was held, actually major race held once the pandemic started. And once I found out it was in driving distance, I signed up. And so I had pretty low expectations. So when I crossed the line, I think I was as surprised as anybody. But it was really neat. I got a lot of great exposure, and yeah, I think it's just that looking back, things don't end. The pandemic felt like things were ending. the first opportunity I saw, I took it, and it really opened a lot of doors for me, that happening. And now I have my goal set on next month, running the fastest woman by a marathon ever in Oklahoma. So that's my next goal.
Wow, that is so inspiring, and just you're amazing.
Thanks.
Do you feel like there are equal opportunities for women running or running marathons?
I think, yeah, the opportunities are there. Like I said before, the opportunities are there. I think for racing, for running, for signing up, for hitting that end goal. I think what isn't always there equally for women are the opportunities to train. And I say that because I'm from the South, and I live in Oklahoma, and I have a very stereotypical background where the woman cooks the meals and is the primary care provider, and deals with the doctor's appointments and all of those things. And I have a full-time job, and that's how most women nowadays. Women in the workforce, but those primary care responsibilities haven't gone away. So yeah, I can sign up for a marathon or run as many marathons as a man, but when am I going to train for it? And I have a husband who's incredibly supportive of my goals. We support each other's dreams, so that's important. But I feel like that's a lost on a lot of people, that the opportunities are there. Give women a chance to do it. Let us have equal time for our hobbies and that sort of thing. And so,
Great insight. I know you were talking about you enjoy playing basketball earlier, but are there any other like sports that you enjoy playing?
I like watching a lot of sports now. And I'm getting close to 40, and I have the job and I have the daughter, so I don't have a lot of time beyond training to devote to it, but I do like watching other sports. I appreciate, I love Olympic years, winter Olympics, summer Olympics, just appreciate seeing what people's bodies are capable of. It's fascinating. And so I love watching them, but no, I'm not, and I don't particularly have a lot of hand-eye coordination beyond just like propelling myself forward for very long amounts of time. I wouldn't call myself particularly athletic.
Could you share some of the positive experiences you've had being a woman and running in marathons?
I mean, I think it's just gotten me out of my bubble and my comfort zone more than I would have, and that usually ends up being a positive experience. I've traveled more than I would have in seeking out these races, and I've met other women who are inspiring to me to keep running races. So, you're talking to me because I assume you think I'm a little unique or different, right? And so I don't meet me's every day, moms who run 90 miles a week. And so going to these places and getting an opportunity to meet my counterpart in Chicago, my counterpart in California, and just, having that camaraderie of we're in this and we're doing it and we're doing a great job, and keep it up. So it's really that. It's those interactions with people that are like me, and meeting them and getting to travel too. Just, I don't think I would have sought out opportunities to travel before. I get too comfortable in my kind of a little bit of a homebody. And so, but the races, they don't have that many races in Stillwater, Oklahoma. So I get to seek them out, and I love, every time I go, I learn something new.
Yes, and I think it's just so amazing that you're an accomplished runner and also an accomplished scientist too. Do you feel that running has influenced your career at all, and if so, how?
I think it's prepared me a lot for delayed gratification, right? So it took me 8 years of trying to qualify for my first Olympic trials, and so 3 years, and part of that is it only comes around every 4 years, right? And so science is, unlike the incredible things we saw with the vaccines being put in so quickly in the last couple of years, science is generally a slow process. I submit a grant, and it actually takes them 6 months to even read it. And then it takes them another month or two to tell me if they liked it. And then it takes another 6 months to resubmit. And sometimes it doesn't even get in the top 50%, which means they didn't even think it was worth being talked about. And that's hard. So you have to learn to deal with that disappointment and move on and keep working. So that endurance that, okay, this race didn't go well. Okay, they didn't like that grant. That doesn't mean we stop. We're disappointed. But if we weren't disappointed, it wouldn't matter to us that much. The fact that I'm disappointed means I care and means I should try again. So same in science and running, just keep going.
Yeah, I've been interested in science since I was like very young, so it's like so inspiring to get to talk to you, especially because you're a scientist and a runner.
Well, yeah, and the science is, I love the science, so I think it's cool, but yeah, it's that behind the scenes, people see the published paper, but don't see that I've been working on that paper for 12 months. So, but I do like seeing the paper. It's kind of like getting the medal. It feels
Yeah.
good.
It's always amazing to get to see your work published and everything,
Mhm.
I bet.
Oh,
Yeah,
I know.
always a good day.
Yeah, but that feeling is amazing. And what are some valuable experiences or life lessons you learned while being a runner that you may not have learned without your experience?
That's a great question. I think it's a little bit learning how to be honest with yourself. You talked a little bit about injury, and I'm 37, so my body has to recover longer than it used to. And I have to know my body well, and I have to admit, am I tired because training for marathons is tiring, or am I not getting enough sleep? Am I not eating right? And that being honest with yourself is important in a lot of scenarios. I'm grumpy today. Is it because I'm, stressed about my home life, or is it because I, forgot to eat lunch and I'm hangry and I need to deal with that? And learning to be honest with yourself and knowing yourself. You have to know your body really well. And I feel like that helps even with just well-being, right? I can tell if something's off. I should go to the doctor and versus, well, I'm 37 and my back hurts, and it's probably because I'm 37. But I feel like just that ability to really know yourself, know what you need, know what you're feeling, recognize when you need to step back, when I need to rest, when I need a mental break. And that's the same with work. Sometimes that I'm writing a paper and I'm working really hard, and I just need to step back, and I can recognize that about myself now. Know when I need a break for real, or I need to keep pushing.
I know it personally because I deal with chronic pain some, and it's important to know when I need to stop and take a break and stuff like that. So thank you so much for coming on and doing this interview with us. You're so amazing and so inspiring, and was just so honored to be able to do this with you and have the opportunity to do this. So we wanted to go ahead and ask you one final question. What advice would you give to others wanting to start out running to help guide them over some of the struggles that you've gone through?
First of all, just start. People think because and it's true, right? I'm in shape, so running a mile for me is easier than running a mile for somebody else. But even still, the first one's always hardest. The first steps are always the hardest. So just starting is more than you did, right? Even if you don't finish your goal for the day, you started it. You were there. And the other one is just remembering not to compare yourself to others. Going back to that Olympic trials and training for the Olympic trials, I got really caught up in what is this person doing to prepare for the race, but I was comparing myself to professional athletes, people getting paid to do that for a living. And I got really wrapped up in what are they doing? They're doing it faster than me. They're doing more than me. And forgot that I was doing better than I had ever done before. So look at yourself. Don't compare yourself to this person's faster, this person does more. Look at it. Did I go a little further than I did yesterday? Did I go a little faster than I did yesterday? You just can't make those comparisons to other people. It has, if they're wanting to run a marathon, it has to be because they really want to do it for themselves. You're not going to be able to be happy about it doing for somebody else.
Yeah.
That's my biggest one.
I know that it's really important. I've experienced it with my music, not to try to compare yourself to others, because you're doing amazing just already. Just you always have to remember that, and don't try to compare yourself to others.
Absolutely. Yeah. Set your own benchmarks and your own tiny goals and knock them off the list. It feels good. That's the whole just start thing. Even if your goal today is just to start, and you do, you get to check that box and say, good job, self, I did it.
Well, this has been such an amazing interview, and our viewers are going to totally love all the advice and insight you've given, and you're just so inspiring, and a lot of people will value this a lot.
Well, I appreciate your just invitation to come on. I always love talking about running, and I want to support. I think, yeah, it doesn't have to be about running. I think my daughter, don't see her being a runner, but I hope that from this she just finds something in her life that she thinks is worth working this hard for. I would say I hope that your music to you is worth working this hard for, and I bet it is. Seems like it is, and so I've enjoyed just getting to share my thoughts. So thank you for having me on.
Wow, she had such amazing and insightful answers. It was just mind-blowing.
I know. Every time I've watched the interview 3 times now because I always look over the editing that did, and it like that interview, it was so good. Like I don't really, there's like not a lot of words besides like amazing and great. I mean, her insight was amazing, and she definitely had great answers.
Absolutely. So we wanted to take a little bit of time and talk about, for the rest of the show, we wanted to talk about some exciting announcements coming up. So for our next episode, after the episode, make sure you guys go follow the Orchid Times show group, because later today we're going to be posting about a really special event in our Q&A episode that's going to include prizes too. So make sure you guys go ahead and tune in the same time on Wednesday next week.
Yeah, and I've said it in I said it on It's Casual last night, and I said it pretty much all month. Our Q&A episode is probably going to be one of our best episodes. I'm so excited for it. We just have such a big surprise.
Absolutely. And please start sending in your questions for the Q&A episode. Send it to our email, Facebook Messenger, Instagram, just wherever, and we will get to as many of your guys' questions as possible. I also wanted to touch on that on the 30th of March, we're going to be doing a all-female showcase for a fundraiser for women in Ukraine. So just message us and we'll get you guys set up with a time that works for you if you're interested in it.
Yeah, if you can message us on the Orchid Time page, or you can message me or Lily individually.
Absolutely. Thank you guys all so much for watching and for all of your guys' support, and we just appreciate it so much.
I hope you guys have a great St. Patrick's Day tomorrow. I have to be at school, so it'll be somewhat fun.
Yeah. Okay, so hope you guys have a great rest of your evening, and see you guys next week.